race 8 around week yesterday was the running of the Bill Ritchie. Over 1400 Group 3 race. The winner was Judge from Rockwood and Killerton. There were a few disappointing runs in the race also, I thought, or slightly disappointing maybe. One of those was all silent. I'd let you lead off on this, mate. Your thoughts on this?
Sure. Judged, I thought, raced her way into Epsom calculations with a win there. I mean, as we highlighted from the Stan Fox, that the time may be a little bit slow, and there may be the odd question mark there around that having been, I guess, seen as superior time with 3-year-olds. But I thought she's put together 2 enormous runs now, coming from the tail of the field. She's got some fantastic turn of foot, which will stand her in good stead next week in the Epsom handicap. So I'd like to think she's definitely a chance in what is fast-looking a weak race, with horses falling by the wayside left, right and centre as each week ticks by. I guess it's left Rahib out there on his own as what's going to be certainly the favourite for the race, but who's to say she can't win this race and put together another big run. I thought All Silent was enormously disappointing. I think he probably needs to be up to a mile now. He raced a bit one pace there over that sort of a trip, so I think there's no point keeping him back anything less than a mile from now on, but I still thought that all things considered, he was made to look pretty silly by a judge as she gave him a bit of windburn when she went past him there down the straight. And I'm sure Killerton will have his knockers as a short price favourite who floundered there, but I actually thought his run had plenty of merit to it. He's again a horse like Ashikaga I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, a horse that it's all come very quickly for, and you know, I think I heard Clocker mentioning on the radio during the week saying, you know, by all means back Killerton on Saturday, but you'll go broke backing a horse stepping up in grade so quickly as he's doing, and that proved to be the case. You know, it's a horse that was stepping out of his grade quite quickly, and he'll come back a better horse. I've got no doubt about that, and I thought his run actually showed a fair bit of character to stick on as he did. And other than that, I think watch out for Rockwood when he steps up in a bit of distance. He's a middle distance galloper, and he certainly looks to have come back well.
Yeah, look, echo Matt's thoughts on Judged. It was a really good performance yesterday when Corey, who had a huge day, 4 wins, asked her to let down. She let down like a gazelle and really hit the line strongly. I want to pay a bit of attention to Rockwood, the second horse. I've got quite an opinion of this horse. I think that he's a progressive type, and I believe, like his sire, Rock of Gibraltar, he's improving with age. I think he's come back particularly well. He's actually part owned by a mate of mine, David Dixon, who's always told me that the horse had a huge amount of ability. I think the Rock of Gibraltars in general will continue to improve as they get older. They probably have done reasonably well without setting the world on fire here in Australia. But I think he'll be quite useful, maybe more in the mould of a Desert Kings type of stallion, where he gets a lot of middle distance performers. So his effort was good. Killerton led and showed some speed, and you know, it was a good effort for a horse in his first real preparation, and who's come a long way. I think he'll be a much better and much stronger horse next time in. All Silent was really disappointing for mine. The horse that I've got a lot of time for, a horse that's always finished his races off with a lot of vigour. Just paddled to the line yesterday, so not quite sure if it was the harder track didn't suit him. Maybe he needs a little bit more give in the track in the ground, and I still wouldn't sack him off that. I'd give him one more chance because he's well handicapped in the Epsom, so I wouldn't drop off him just yet. If he failed again, then I'd be off. And just quickly, from a pedigree perspective, the winner by a high yield, a former Coolmore stallion who I think died last year, but he's actually out of the same family as Lawyer, who was a pretty good 3-year-old and placed in the Guineas, and has gone on to stud and been a fairly moderate stallion, but was a pretty handy racehorse himself.
I think these guys raced Lawyer, didn't they? They also raced Regal Cheer as well, I think. So they had a couple of good
same colours.
Yeah.
Look, I thought it was a pretty moderate sort of race, to be honest with you. I'm disappointed in All Silent. I thought if there was a horse to come out of it, of this race to make his stamp on a spring, I thought was going to be All Silent. I thought he was the one that could take a step to Group 1 level. However, He failed yesterday. It was a little bit disappointing. He had a horse outside him in the straight, laying in on top of him a little bit. He was just obstructed for a run for about 50 metres or 75 metres, but when he did get clear running, he didn't attack the line as well as what I would hoped he was going to do. Judge was very impressive, and she did let down enormously well. I've got to say, she's surprising me a little bit. She's always been a fairly handy filly, but last 6 months especially, she's just come out of nowhere. She's really been, yesterday, she was a Group 3 winner and in a very impressive manner, and she travelled 3 deep weak cover, but she just let down enormous, off moderate speed. I didn't think they went overly hard yesterday, so that was a very good performance. Killerton, he tasted defeat for the first time. Look, he's a very good horse. I think he's going to have a terrific future. I just don't think he's going to make it to the top level, mate. I don't know if he's going to be a Group 1 horse. I thought, he's only had 53.5 on his back. I know he's going through the grades, but it wasn't an overly strong race. It was only a Group 3, not a Group 1 level, against, some moderate performance, really. There's no stars in the race yet, anyway, and I thought he could have probably thought on a little bit better than that. He may have come to his level, may have plateaued, I'm not sure.
One other thing I'd like to mention from the race, with the good performance of Rockwood, was how good was Gay Waterhouse yesterday. She's just incredible. Whenever the big days come, particularly at Randwick, she just her horses just turn it on and they peak. She gets them to peak at the right time. Yesterday, pretty much all the runners just ran with distinction and were right in the finish, and she's just an ornament to the.
You're trying to get an invite to a house party.
What's going on? I tell you what. Don't they fight down that Randwick straight? I mean, Dreamscape. It looked like
you want to go with you.
It looked like Whitefries was going to test him at some stage, but he fought on it. And Falconbridge, a horse we may not get to talk about, but he looked gone at one stage. I saw that Delago start coming around, and he looked like he was going to run straight past him, but he just dug this and found an extra length.
It's so systemic of her horses that they've just got that incredible ability to fight in a tight finish, and she just does it year in, year out.
She goes all right.
But before we wrap up that Rockwood, your points well made on Rockwood there soon. I still remember backing him in a race where he was beaten just on the post by Dealer Principle when Dealer Principle was in his best form.
This is a very, very smart horse.
Yeah, so and I think he worked quite hard that day too and was only nabbed on the post.
He won the Frank Packer over 2000 at the end of his preparation too.
I can see him developing into a really good star.
I think
maybe a cup source even eventually.
All right, that's a wrap on the Bill Ritchie. Thank you.